Hello, and welcome to Writing Tips with Rachel. Today I'm giving you my best tips for how to survive feeling invisible as a writer. It happens every year. The end of the year comes with its best of lists, followed by awards lists, and, oh yeah, it's all preceded by mock Newbery lists and award prediction lists. There are so many lists. What happens when your book is on none of the lists? It's like people aren't talking about it at all. It's like it doesn't exist. Like you never wrote those words or spent all those years trying to make it perfect. When our book makes 0 lists, and it seems like hardly anyone is even talking about it or reading it, we can start to feel invisible. Like no one knows about us or our books. They may not even know we're a writer with published books. If it's not our first book, that can feel even worse because shouldn't people know about us by now? I try really hard during these feeling invisible times to keep my head down and remember my purpose. My purpose is to write books readers love, to write books for the young people who need them. My purpose is not to win awards or make lists. I mean, I'd like to win awards and make lists, but it's not my purpose. It's incredibly difficult to keep my head down and remember my purpose because the lists are everywhere. They're hard to escape. This is part of why I take frequent social media breaks. And please hear this. It's not at all that I'm not incredibly happy for my friends who make it on these lists or win awards. There's just this overarching sense of disappointment that my book is invisible, or it seems to be. We can be happy for others and disappointed with our own invisibility. Both can be true at the same time. So how can we survive feeling invisible? Here are my best tips. Number 1, feel the feelings. I have always told my kids that every feeling is valid. You need to feel your feelings to move on from them. When you stuff your feelings or pretend like they don't really exist, they don't go away, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then more cluster around them. Resentment, anger, frustration, and those get bigger and bigger and bigger. That's not healthy. Big feelings stuffed away and ignored eat away at us. They turn us into bitter people. They have power over us. So feel the disappointment of your invisibility. Write about it in your journal, and then move on. Number 2, remember why you do what you do. We write because we can't not write. Beyond that, we write for our readers. I write for young people who are usually not the ones making these lists or choosing the awards. Although I must say I do appreciate those who make the lists and put in their time reading the books. But no one can read all the books published in a year, which means it's likely that not every book is considered for those lists and awards. And remember that these things are all subjective. We all like different books. I'd pick different award-winning books than you would. Every award has a judge. Every judge has their own individual taste. The best we can do is write the best book we can and trust that it will reach the right people and do what it can in the world. Number 3, get started on the next book. I always have another book going, and one of the ways I get over feeling invisible and forgotten is by working on another project that I'm excited about. Working on another project gets us out of our heads, and yet also into our heads. Out of our heads in the sense that we'll stop thinking about, or brooding over, if you're like me, our supposed invisibility, and stop wondering if invisible is all we'll ever be. And we start thinking about our next story. The writing itself is an act of saying, I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. We are rebelling against invisibility every time we pick up our pen and open our computer to write. And one last thing, remember that when you feel invisible, you're not invisible to the people who matter most. The readers who need your book will find it. Why else would we keep doing what we do? So keep telling your stories. The world needs them. And I see you. That's it for today's Writing Tips with Rachel. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'd love to know your best tips for surviving feeling invisible as a writer. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for videos about books and life and more videos like this. Thanks for watching.